Under the light, a man in a black shirt stood there, the icy scalpel in his lovely fingers steadily revolving in his palm. His gaze was penetrating yet gentle, and his skill with the scalpel was unrivaled. The moment should have been exceptionally terrifying in the eyes of viewers, but it instead generated a new type of beauty, especially with Xiao Qingrong's strangely smiling look. For a moment, the entire place seemed to be frozen. Xiao Qingrong also astounded the show's cast. They had no idea why Xiao Qingrong had brought such a knife, but everyone could sense it. For the time being, everything will be hectic. Despite being stunned by Xiao Qingrong, the fans seated in front of the TV and computer felt terrible for their favorites. He has relied on them since his boyhood. Later, he opted to make his debut for his mother's treatment, but she died, and he was distraught. However, when their idol's father unexpectedly appeared and begged for his kidney, they couldn't help but feel sorry for him. It's a kidney. A human has just 2 kidneys, and if even one is gone, the body suffers. In truth, Wei Shuoqin didn't know much about his son. He never thought about seeking out his son again after divorcing his wife. Later, his son arrived unexpectedly and demanded money. He was horrified to find that his ex-wife was ill. However, because his money is for his new wife, it is hard for him to send money to this brat. Who would have predicted that this brat would grow on to become a celebrity? Wei Shuoqin understands that a celebrity like Xiao Qingrong can earn tens of millions of dollars merely for appearing in an advertisement, therefore, he must be wealthy. He is his father, shouldn't he be entitled to some benefits? The pledge to that individual is to put his son to the test. Wei Shuoqin wishes to let this son leave if he cares about him, but if he doesn't, don't blame him for not caring about their father-son bond. Wan Keqing, who was seated nearby, was already terrified by the scalpel's abrupt presence. She felt as though she had lost control of the situation. For a time, she was terrified and didn't know what to say. Xiao Qingrong sat there calmly, his scalpel transforming into a flower. Although he did not utilize a smart hand pill in this life, isn't it easy to play with a scalpel with Xiao Qingrong's ability? 618 was enraged, but when it saw its host pull out the scalpel generated by the system, it understood the host was ready to do something else. This is being transmitted live, host. If you kill someone, the police will arrest you. It trembled as it attempted to halt its host. If the host murders someone, his or her career as a celebrity will be over. Xiao Qingrong disregarded 618 when he heard it. He never considered killing some during the live broadcast, not to mention scaring the lovely young fans outside. To add insult to injury, his so-called father claims he needs a kidney transplant but does not appear to be in need. Furthermore, 618 claims that if public opinion compelled the previous one to donate his kidney to this scum following this episode, it demonstrates that someone is manipulating. What exactly are you doing? Wei Shuoqin took a step back when he noticed Xiao Qingrong's chilly eyes. It was as though a deadly snake had coiled itself around his neck. The program group's ratings have been announced, and the director is pleased and believes that this will undoubtedly make news. Sun Shimin had gone to see the person in charge of Star to Face, thus, she was unaware that her artist had pulled out a knife. What exactly am I doing? Do you not want my kidney? You threatened to give me my kidney after going to this event and continued to harass me. Do you want me to please you right now? Xiao Qingrong's eyes remained frigid, but a smile appeared on his face. At that moment, they were all swayed by the man whose face was so attractive during the live show. Wan Keqing, the host, was likewise perplexed for a little while. She had no idea what was going on. As a consequence, she noticed that Xiao Qingrong continued to point his finger. His clean and delicate finger, which had played on a piano in front of the journalists, continued to unbutton his shirt, the first, second, third. This was filled with taboos and temptations, and it astonished everyone. People couldn't keep their eyes off Xiao Qingrong once the buttons were undone, revealing his exquisite collarbone and white chest, nearly as clean as cream. Everyone felt perplexed by the man in front of them. Their gaze was fixed on him, and all they could see was the man's shirt with all of his buttons undone. Fans became even more enthralled when his shirt was partly unbuttoned, displaying his white physique and even the faint mermaid line in his white skin. Xiao Qingrong, who had done all of this, was still smiling. As a result, to everyone's delight, his right hand gently tore open the garments on his right, exposing his right chest and then moving down. He gripped the small scalpel and softly rubbed it against the flesh of his waist while the leaping scalpel stopped rotating on his left hand. I don't want you now since you didn't want me at the time. If you want my kidney, I can give it to you right now, but not today. If you don't want it now, don't bother me afterward. As he stated, the knife softly sliced through his skin, followed by his blood. For a brief instant, all supporters began to yell at the same time. Wang Keqing and Wei Shuoqin were paler than usual. They didn't appear to expect anything like this to happen. For the first time, the cameraman sensed danger, and the director even paused the live broadcast. Fans on the internet and those watching the live broadcast on TV saw this scene as well, but the live broadcast ended in an instant. Netizens began to remark furiously at this point. They were curious about what transpired on the broadcast. They asked on Weibo, and people who knew someone at the studio texted them right away. What about the spectators on the scene? Fans on the scene had long begun to act erratically. Seeing their idol suffer as a result of such trash gave them cause for concern and anxiety for their idol. They yelled angrily, their eyes crimson. How could they let their idol injure himself so casually? The show's staff already knew that the well-calculated script had been cut, and there were now more than 500 fans on the scene, some of whom were still shooting with their mobile phones and cameras. After all, for the first time since this occurred, wise fans opted to leave proof. This scumbag is utterly awful, leaving followers appalled and enraged. 618 never anticipated that its host would do anything like this. It eventually considered the blood replenisher purchased by the host, and it realized what its host intended to accomplish. This is for him to dig up his kidneys. Stop, host, and take a deep breath. Isn't digging up your kidney painful? It isn't worth it for such a jerk. At this point, 618 yelled out loudly and frantically. 618 is at a loss for what to do for its host, who seemed uncaring. It thought it would be okay as long as its host did not damage others, but now. Xiao Qingrong ignored 618's statements. Xiao Qingrong has had a terrible attitude ever since 618 announced he would be obliged to give a kidney. After all, as someone who spends all year with a scalpel, he understands that a kidney can save someone's life, but the donor will have some troubles later in life. Giving a kidney to someone else? Xiao Qingrong lacked such unselfish determination. Furthermore, Xiao Qingrong understands from 618's statements that this is not an easy thing. A conscientious person controls so-called public opinion. Over 80 million fans were genuinely convinced to force their idol to donate his kidney. Even though he finally donated his kidney, he died. Isn't this the greatest joke ever? So it was planned at the time by Xiao Qingrong. He first placed himself in a vulnerable position, and then he intended to extract his kidney. It's also a nice challenge to face opponents who are hiding in the dark. Wei Shuoqin had no idea his otherwise normal-looking son had a neurosis. Wei Shuoqin was terrified as he saw him slash himself with a scalpel, not to mention the woman, Wang Keqing, who was on the side. Wei Shuoqin, however, refused to lower his head in front of Xiao Qingrong. He simply thought that the man in front of him resembled those ladies, sobbing, causing difficulties, and trying all sorts of things to get him to compromise. How can someone take out their kidney? I tell you, Xiao Qingrong. Even if you continue to threaten me in this manner, oh? What sort of individual am I? At this point, I believe my admirers are more knowledgeable than you. Xiao Qingrong scowled and stared at his supporters, but he had no intention of stopping. My beloved followers, this man is my biological father, and he is credited with giving me life. He now claims to have a real illness and is pressuring me to donate my kidney as his son. At the moment, I just have one thing to accomplish: everyone must obey my instructions, okay? His speech was unusually soft, and the supporters eventually relaxed and screamed neatly. After all, whatever their idols want to achieve, their admirers must wholeheartedly back them. Everyone should now close their eyes, and because these admirers came with affection, Xiao Qingrong does not want them to see the horrible incident. Is there another way? He has a plethora of solutions for similar problems, but this is the quickest. And as long as this thing is accomplished, it can be uprooted instantly, which is also extremely beneficial, whether it is Wei Shuoqin or the individuals behind it. All of the fans closed their eyes and began counting, following Xiao Qingrong's order. The cool numbers sounded fantastic in the studio, but hearing them in Wei Shuoqin's ears was like hearing a voice from hell. Listening to these voices, Xiao Qingrong only heard numbers that seemed like natural noises since they were screamed at by people who loved him. Xiao Qingrong fixed his sights on Wei Shuoqin after watching the fans with their eyes closed in delight. Do you not want my kidney? No problem, I'll repay you. Wei Shuoqin and Wan Keqing, who were standing close to Xiao Qingrong in front of him, observed as Xiao Qingrong directly inserted the scalpel into his waist. His movement proceeded uninterrupted, and he skillfully slashed the inside side of his waist before locating the area of his kidney. The other hand also helped, making it easy for Wan Keqing's eyes to widen as she witnessed this incident, and she collapsed on the ground the next second. Wei Shuoqin, who was standing nearby, was similarly taken aback when he observed his kid clutching a brilliant red object and approaching himself. When he saw what was approaching him, he recognized it as a monster from hell. He attempted desperately to flee, but he was unable to do so. The severe pain made Xiao Qingrong's face pale. Such familiar pain made Xiao Qingrong numb and caused him to close his eyes for a bit. Suddenly, he twitched, then opened his eyes and smiled at the red kidneys on his hands. Then, he completely did not care about the pain and walked in front of the man, stretched out his hand to pull the man's hand, and put his kidney into the man's hands. Well, this is the kidney you wanted. Moreover, it's fresh, so I think you will like it, right? The fans' screams continued, but Xiao Qingrong took a blood replenisher pill from his pocket and popped it into his mouth. Wei Shuoqin was terrified, trembling with fear, as was the hand holding the organ. His pupils dilated, and he collapsed like Wan Keqing. Glancing at the man who fainted on the ground, Xiao Qingrong poked his mouth, then looked at the camera, slowly twitching the corner of his mouth. Such a smile directly scared the staff of the show crew, stars face to face. They felt that they saw a ghost. 76. 77. 78. The fans' screams continued, but Xiao Qingrong took a blood replenisher pill from his pocket and popped it into his mouth. Then he slowly began to fasten his button again. This action was quite difficult for him to do. Of course, if he did not have such blood on his hands, it would be more leisurely. Host, aren't you hurt? The voice of 618 choked and fell into Xiao Qingrong's ears, which caused his lips to twitch. Just when 618 thought he would not answer, he heard Xiao Qingrong's voice. It hurts, but even though it hurts, I'm used to it. Moreover, that fool passed out. How laughable his voice brought the joy of regaining a new life, making 618 even more anxious when he heard it. When the director did not respond, Sun Qimin felt that something was wrong and returned to the studio. As soon as she returned, she saw the pale Xiao Qingrong. Xiao Qingrong, who was on the sofa, was already dressed, and because his shirt was black, the blood was not obvious. Holding a white handkerchief in his hand, he carefully wiped his fingers. Two faint-hearted people stood beside him with a smile on their faces. When she walked over, Sun Shimin was startled and found the blood on Xiao Qingrong's body and a weird smell spreading in the air. Qingrong. Are you injured? She wanted to check on Xiao Qingrong's situation, but in the end, Xiao Qingrong indifferently avoided Sun Shimin's inspection and glanced at his agent. It's okay, she's just missing a kidney. This statement made Sun Shimin stunned and looking at the situation on the ground, she couldn't believe what she saw. 97, 98, 99. The neat voice of the fans was coming to an end, but Xiao Qingrong looked at the fans below thoughtfully, drew his lips, and when the number was about to reach 100, he picked up the microphone. Everyone, don't open your eyes. Be a good baby. All my fans who came to see me today will be able to get 10 tickets for my latest movie after the show is over. His voice echoed throughout the hall, prompting fans who were about to open their eyes to do so instead. Even if a fan secretly opened their eyes and glanced, Xiao Qingrong had already buttoned up his shirt so they wouldn't see much blood, and since he had already taken the blood replenisher pill, his life wouldn't be in any danger at all. The show crew has already called the police and the ambulance, so they should arrive soon. As Xiao Qingrong followed Sun Shimin to get in the car, he looked at the staff and felt that it was boring. The Star face-to-face television show has concluded. Xiao Qingrong is lying in the ambulance. Sun Shimin already knows what he did. She even got red eyes and looked at the child resentfully. When the ambulance arrived, the show crew informed Sun Shimin that Xiao Qingrong had dug up his kidney. She couldn't understand what the show group was saying, but the medical staff on the side saw Wei Shuoqin lying on the ground with something in his hand. It looks weird, and generally, people don't recognize what it is, but what about these doctors and nurses? So there was already a doctor who opened Xiao Qingrong's clothes on the spot and saw the blood on his chest. Lying in the ambulance, Xiao Qingrong knew that he would never die, and it was a bit interesting to see everyone nervous. Since he was out, he planned to have a good time. As the anesthetics gradually paralyzed Xiao Qingrong's nerves, he gradually fell into sleep but did not know how much turbulence had been caused by the outside. The show star's face-to-face was suddenly cut off, everyone was startled, and what happened on the scene made the staff horrified. The staff was frightened one by one, but most of the fans were not. Seeing the staff so horrified, the fans later saw the video, and when they saw the scene, it was not that scary to them because of the distance, and some only found it uncomfortable. How can a person be coerced into such behavior? At the same time that Xiao Qingrong was sent to the hospital, on Weibo, Xiao Qingrong's biological father forced Xiao Qingrong to donate a kidney. Everyone was talking about what happened on Star's face-to-face. Ethical relations are the key objects of discussion. Sun Shimin was outside Xiao Qingrong's operating room, and the company's people had also been notified. Jiangnan Entertainment Company felt that something was wrong after knowing this. They immediately launched a public relations campaign and started investigating the situation of Wei Shuoqin. It's so coincidental that it makes people feel like they're carefully calculated. At 8 o'clock in the evening, when everyone was at the peak of the internet, a video suddenly came out. Xiao Qingrong cut off his kidney and gave it to his father. Wei Shuoqin, UF** King Scum. This topic and a video were directly rushed into the headlines. When someone saw it when they opened the video, it was Xiao Qingrong's appearance when he was undressed. Although it was far away, it was full of temptation, and fans screamed. But after that, Xiao Qingrong asked the fans to close their eyes and count. The person was recording while holding the phone as she was counting. Everyone could hear the voice of the owner, and it was the voice of a girl. But as fans counted, what did they see? They saw that Xiao Qingrong took a scalpel and dug open the inside of his waist and then took out his kidney. Everyone was worried when they saw Xiao Qingrong calmly handing over the kidneys to Wei Shuoqin. The slow redressing of his clothes was even more distressing to the fans. It was all very cinematic. If it's just a movie, this is the perfect performance, but now that this video is not a drama, it is most likely true. Such a video is, of course, impossible to circulate on the internet. The net police immediately moved into action and wanted to clear this video, but with the existence of 618, this video couldn't be removed at all. How could they go against something like 618? Jiangnan Entertainment Company, Limited was distressed after seeing the news. The company issued a statement saying that Xiao Qingrong had been sent to the hospital for treatment. They even verified that Xiao Qingrong was forced to dig out his kidney. This time, netizens are completely angry because they have seen the ins and outs. That is a man who abandoned his wife and abandoned his child, found that he had kidney disease many years later, and then wanted to morally force his abandoned son to give him his kidney. Such a thing is simply challenging everyone's limits. One by one, everyone began to crazily curse Wei Shuoqin. Many fans even secretly asked which hospital Xiao Qingrong went to because they wanted to know how he is now. Fans, especially those who saw Xiao Qingrong in the afternoon, cried until their eyes turned red. They felt that their idol was so pitiful. All the rumors outside were flowing wildly. Everyone scolded the Stars Face to Face show. They thought that this program group would do anything for the ratings, and they even forced one person to almost die. Xiao Qingrong looked like he didn't want to live anymore. And at this moment, a gloomy man looked at the video of Xiao Qingrong digging his kidney out and throwing his phone directly to the ground. Ji Yizhen never thought that there would be any problems with his elaborate scheme, and now that it has failed, it will be hard to try again. He knew that his kidneys needed to be replaced, so he specially designed this matter, trying to compromise Xiao Qingrong through moral means and then grab his kidneys, but now, because of Xiao Qingrong's behavior, his plans have failed. When he thought of his own life, it was hard for him to believe that Xiao Qingrong could match himself. Moreover, when thinking of the fact that he is already at the top of the entertainment circle, Ji Yizhen felt that as long as he can live longer, doing something like this is fine. However, since the kidney has been dug out, it is now basically useless. Should he find other kidney sources or should he still keep an eye on Xiao Qingrong? Sun Qimin didn't know that her artists had been targeted. At this time, she was in a hurry to consult the doctor about Xiao Qingrong's condition outside his ward. After all, he dug out his kidney, and he did it without any anesthesia while he was conscious. He must have been in a lot of pain. Why is this child so problematic? Doctor, how is he? At this moment, the operation was complete, and Xiao Qingrong was transferred to the key ward so the doctor had time to tell Sun Qimin of his situation. The operation was very successful, and his body is already intact, but the kidney has been out of the body for too long, it's lost its normal function and is useless. The doctor also had a complicated look. After hearing about what happened, he also watched the video. How can an ordinary person dig out his kidney when he is awake? How much pain tolerance does he have? In addition to the pain, there are also personal health conditions. It's useless. Then, doctor, will this be a problem in the future? The thought of her artist missing a kidney made Sun Qimin's face turn blue. When she thought of how her artist was forced to donate his kidneys and how he met his father in the show, she didn't believe it was a coincidence. She believes that someone is behind all this. Living a normal life is no problem, but as for other things, it depends on his recovery ability. The doctor also did not dare to guarantee too much. Although Xiao Qingrong's body looked fine, the specific situation depended on the situation. No one else could guarantee it. Doctor, thank you. Could you pay attention to something for me? Sun Qimin frowned, thinking about these things that had happened. She had a huge headache. She wanted to get to the bottom of this, and it's not only because he is the cash cow for their company. Sun Qimin has also been with him for 4 years, so she knows him best. If he was not forced, how could he do such an irrational thing? In the ward, Xiao Qingrong was lying there in a hospital uniform. In addition to manipulating public opinion on the internet per Xiao Qingrong's intentions, 618 was secretly observing its host. It always felt like the host on the stage today was a little different, and the way the host cut himself also made 618 frightened. But no matter what, it doesn't want its host to be hurt. Although it treats others with no love, it believes that the host is a loving person, otherwise, it would not be so gentle to those fans. Also, when he was at the menu school, he was very good to those students, so even if others were injured, 618 did not want its host to be injured. Outside public opinion is increasingly favorable to Xiao Qingrong. With the insertion of Jiangnan Entertainment Company and 618 public opinion control, everything is now in the favor of Xiao Qingrong. His latest Weibo has even exceeded 500,000 messages, all of which are wishes for Xiao Qingrong's well-being. After all, no one wants their idol to die like this, and when this kind of thing happens, of course, people will inevitably be a little worried. On the hospital side, Sun Qimin had already made plans, and several assistants were helping her hide Xiao Qingrong. If Xiao Qingrong's hospital was exposed, the turbulence caused by the fans coming would be too huge. As public opinion continued to be in Xiao Qingrong's favor, Wei Shuoqin and Wan Keqing had already woken up. When Wan Keqing woke up at 10 p.m. and saw everything on Weibo, she felt immense regret. Her career has come to an end. After seeing all this, Wan Keqing knew that Xiao Qingrong was not the kind of person that someone could bully casually. Such a person will strike back when bullied, and when they do, they will show no mercy. So in the early morning, Wan Keqing posted on Weibo. The first thing was to permanently withdraw from the Star Face-to-Face program group and also expose that the appearance of Wei Shuoqin was part of the planning of the program group. Other than that, she even expressed her apology to Xiao Qingrong for this matter. Once such a statement was issued, it caused a lot of discussion among the people. After all, this matter is no longer a matter for Xiao Qingrong's fans. It has risen to the issue of public opinion. A scum man, after seeing his son's fame, came over and asked his child to donate a kidney. Is this appropriate? Let's not talk about this, since he has kidney disease. Why not let his son, who was born later, donate? Do you have to borrow money from your ex-wife's son and go to the show? Moreover, some people knew Wei Shuoqin, but they didn't know he had kidney failure, and they also knew Wei Shuoqin's other son. In short, all kinds of news studios have been contracted, and major entertainment websites and social media websites have also broadcast this matter. #shocking. Xiao Qingrong dug out his kidney. Shut down that entertainment show. The situation of Xiao Qingrong is unknown. Should the cheating father be forgiven? #fuck, Xiao Qingrong harmed himself just because of. All kinds of sensational topics have aroused all kinds of discussion. In this age of entertainment, stars, and family ethics, when these things are put together, the effect is huge. Wei Shuoqin, who was taken to the hotel to rest, had changed by the time he woke up the next day. Looking at the news on his mobile phone and so many messages, Wei Shuoqin felt scared like never before. Thinking of everything that happened yesterday, he only felt that he should not have been greedy for money. If it wasn't for money, how could he have been in such a situation? When he thought of the warm and wet feeling on his hands yesterday, his face turned pale, and he wanted to puke. In addition to the phone calls from his wife and son, there are various colleagues, friends, and relatives whom he knew before, but Wei Shuoqin did not dare to answer them, and he was afraid of what they would ask because he didn't know how to answer. According to the original plan, as long as he is willing to go on the show, then public opinion will stand by his side, and then Xiao Qingrong will have to donate a kidney. But now, what is going on? At the hospital, it was almost noon, and Xiao Qingrong, who had finished the operation, had finally woken up, although he was conscious but did not open his eyes. Lying on the bed, his hands shook slightly, and 618 couldn't get excited. Host, are you awake? Are you all right? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Does it hurt? 618 was about to cry as it asked but immediately stopped talking when it heard its voice. Stop being annoying. Hearing the familiar voice and the familiar feeling, 618 quickly shut up. It knew that its host was injured at this moment and needed to take a good rest. Even though it felt wrong, it did not dare to say a word. Seeing 618 be silent, Xiao Qingrong's eyes slightly twitched, but instead of opening his eyes, he entered directly into the learning space. Such a scene scared 618. Is the host so addicted to learning? His body is in this situation, but he is still thinking about learning. As soon as it wanted to say something, it heard the suppressed laughter of its host, from a gentle laugh to a later uncontrollable laugh, which made 618 confused. Are you all right, host? Why does this look so wrong? 618 is sensitive to emotions, and it feels that its host is acting strange, so it can only ask carefully. Xiao Qingrong, who is in the learning space, raised his eyebrows after hearing the voice of 618 and then simulated a scalpel. This scalpel appeared on his right hand, and it was then spun around his fingertips. Okay, of course, I'm fine. I haven't been here in a while. Moreover, my body won't be able to recover soon, so I might as well have fun here, and I haven't eaten freshly roasted pork for a long time.